Master Grade SD Barbatos. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we have the Master Grade SD Barbatos from Bandai. The Master Grade SD Barbatos was released in October of 2023. I pre-ordered the kit and it cost me $57.99 Canadian. This is the second Master Grade SD kit to be released, the first being the Freedom. I already finished building that kit, but I want to review the Barbatos first. And after finishing building those two, I can honestly say, these kits are absolutely badass. So let's start this review and see if you like them as much as I do. And like always, starting with the box. Even with the chibi proportions, that is one cool looking box art. So you can expect the kit to look equally as good. On the side of the box we have a variety of images showing the posing with all the additional weapons, as well as images highlighting the moving gimmicks that come with the kit, so you can imagine that the kit is going to be pretty fun to play around with. And to remind you that it is a Master Grade, it's got an inner frame. We got the kit in a neutral pose, not painted. Also got some images showing some clear parts that come with the kit, as well as metallic gloss injection plastic. A lot of work has been put into the design of this kit, and the end result shows that off pretty well. So here's the Master Grade SD Barbatos. As for build, despite having the Master Grade moniker in its name, the build in fact is quite easy. Due to the SD proportions, this kit doesn't have that many parts. With that being said, there's still a lot of Master Grade level details. This is a complete straight build with some panel lining and no decals applied yet. Just want to first show you what it looks like without decals, though it does come with sticker decals if you wish to apply them, and for a kit this size, it surprisingly comes with a lot. For me though, I opted to use some third-party waterslide decals, just because I love the kit so much I wanted to add something special to it. With the waterslide decals, this is what it looks like, and you can definitely tell that it is Master Grade quality. There's a good amount of surface level detail found throughout the kit, really good for panel lining. In addition, the colored part separation is very well done, something you will appreciate more as you're building it. And aside from the red, blue, white general colors, I did notice that Bandai improved their gold and silver injected plastic, as advertised on the box. Not chrome plated or anything, but it's definitely a step up. Though easier to see when it's just the inner frame, unfortunately I just kept building the kit, so I totally forgot to film that. But even when fully built, you'll still be able to see a little bit sticking out here and there. In the end, I'm pretty surprised with how good it looks, and though it's on a smaller frame, there's still a lot of detail sticking out. It's even more noticeable when you compare it with the standard Master Grade. And that kit was already amazing, so this SD kit, well, it's even more amazinger. Goes to show they're not really just copy and pasting something or just putting it in a small frame. Overall, absolutely love the design. But let's see if those short limbs affect its range of motion. Moving on to articulation, head is able to tilt side to side like so. Very minor movement. 360 rotation of the head is possible. The neck itself has a high degree of mobility, allowing it to extend and retract. The neck mobility also allows a really good range of motion for the head to tilt up and down. And coinciding with the movement of the neck, there are some moving gimmicks in the form of the pistons and neck armor. The shoulders are able to externally rotate this far. Shoulder pauldron can move up and down this much, as well as externally rotating separately from the shoulder joint. Abduction of the arm is limited just because of the bulky shoulder pauldrons. We got an upper 360 bicep rotation, pretty decent elbow bend, and you can see the moving pistons as you do so. The hand is on a ball socket joint, though a bit tight, it's still able to 360 rotate and swivel about. The fingers themselves are split between a trigger finger and 3-finger split, attached onto with a ball joint at the base of the fingers, and from what I can tell the attachment for the fingers are pretty tight. I've yet to have any issues with them falling off. Same can be said with the thumbs, which are attached the exact same way. From what I can tell, Bandai has definitely improved the quality of the digits on the hands. They all swivel about without ever falling off, with the attachments feeling very strong, which definitely helps when gripping weapons. Moving on to the body, though the kit does not have a pilot figure, it does still have a movable cockpit hatch, which is able to slide out very so slightly, though unfortunately the body is too small to be able to see anything. Now as for movement itself, the side bend for this kit is actually very good, and once again we see some cool moving pistons that coincides with the movement of the kit. As for ab crunch, we got a pretty decent one, and for back extension it is a little bit limited due to the larger backpack. Yeah, the short torso length doesn't really help here. As for a 360, as you can see, it's unable to do that. So it's going to be a bit limited on the torso rotation. Now coming around to the backpack, it is able to tilt ever so slightly. And similar to the Master Grade Barbatos, the two capsules on the side of the backpack do have an arm which is able to hinge all the way out like so. And though it's unable to move side to side, it is able to 360 rotate. I know these capsule parts are just made to hold the weapons. I'm not sure why they actually need to be moving. I know on the Master Grade Barbatos and in the anime it allows it to hold the gun. It does have a more difficult time doing this on the SD, but I'm not going to complain, it's still pretty cool. Now we move on to the skirts, which are the only finicky thing on this kit. Starting off with the side skirts, they are attached on a ball joint, that tends to pop off if you rotate it too much, but being on a ball joint, it is able to 360 rotate and swivel about. As for the front skirts, they're also attached to on a ball joint, allowing slight wiggle movement and being able to flip all the way up and down. Coming around to the back, similar to the front skirts, the rear skirts are able to rotate up and down. Coming down to the leg articulation, the legs are almost able to pull off a full split, if not for the side skirts getting in the way. As for a leg raise, we got this much of a range of motion. It's impeded by the knee armor hitting the front skirts. Similarly, the back kick is only able to raise up this high because the back skirts are limiting it. Short kit problems. And unfortunately, there's no upper thigh 360 because of the design of the upper leg. But unlike the torso, there's still a good amount of rotation. As for knee bend, we only have this much of a range of motion due to the design of the armor. But to make up the lack of mobility, we got some moving knee armor. A lot of detail crammed into a very small body. But if you want a moving part that isn't hindered by anything, this piece over here on the back of the leg is able to flip all the way up. Now coming to the feet, it's able to 360 rotate without any issues, with a very good side-to-side pivot. Ankle armor is able to rotate forward and back, and the ankle armor doesn't impede the dorsiflexion of the foot, allowing an exceptional range of motion. This also goes alongside with the foot flexion, allowing the foot to pretty much point all the way down. Also, the front half of the foot is able to move independently up and down. And lastly, the toe claws can also move up and down. Not really serving a purpose in any way whatsoever, but it is very neat to have. You know what, I stand corrected, the toe pointing does help it, at least for this kneeling position. It can't fully kneel just because the leg is kinda short, but this is the best it could do. Overall, for the kit, I would say the articulation is decent. The short limbs alongside the giant armor pieces does inhibit a lot of the movement, but still you're gonna be able to put it in a variety of cool poses, especially with the weapons it comes with, because like the normal Master Grade, it's got the exact same layout. So let's move on to extra and accessories, starting with this adapter piece that attaches to its backpack. Visually nothing amazing, but it serves a purpose at least, and that's to store the giant weapons that it comes with. And I'll show you how to do that as we look through all the weapons. Firstly, let's take a look at the giant mace, which is also one of my most favorite weapon designs. I mean, look at this thing, it's absolutely menacing. Though similar looking, it's still different in design compared to the normal Master Grades, especially with the elongated spikes. And in terms of design, there's a little bit of surface level detail, and pretty much there's no colored part separation, which is why I decided to use the water slide decals. Helps break up all that gray. But at least there's some extra colors here. The shaft of the mace is brown. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but at least there's some surface level detail on the shaft of the mace itself, so it's not like one smooth rod. Man, this sounds so sus. Well, just moving along, there is a pretty cool gimmick, where if you hold the base of the mace and you push up onto the shaft, the blades on the mace do spread apart, and the pile bunker actually extends. And yeah, if you're wondering, it's a pretty big weapon. And to equip this, it's very easy. You can either use the two tabs on the shaft of the mace, that'll go in a slot into the palms of the hands, giving it a pretty secure connection. Or alternatively, seeing as how the fingers can curl in, it can just grip any part of the shaft anyways, but it's not going to be as secure. And even with a disproportionate body, having a giant weapon still looks pretty badass. But if you wish to store the weapon onto the backpack, you're going to just need to line up this tab over here with the attachment piece, then slide it right in. It'll stay there, but it's not the most secure thing. Next up, we have the long sword, shaped like a katana, a one-sided blade with very minimal surface level detail. Nonetheless, still a cool looking weapon, and you know it's not a Gundam without some type of sword. And though it might look like a small dinky sword, it's still as tall as the Gundam itself. Similar to the mace, it does have a little peg sticking out over here that'll slide right into the slot of the hand. And being a lot lighter than the mace, the connection is even more secured. So with the sword in hand, put it in a generic anime pose, and you got something that looks pretty cool. Even if it does look a little stumpy. But to just store it away onto the backpack, you simply just gotta slide it right down. But just keep in mind that you need the longer hilt side to be able to slide it in. And the connection here is much stronger compared to the mace. Lastly, we got that smooth bore gun. But with that length, it's more like a cannon. And compared to the two previous weapons, the smooth bore gun does have a bit more detail, as well as having much more color. And you might be thinking that it looks kinda weird right now, because currently what you see here is the folded up version. And that's the unique thing about this weapon, because you're able to slide the barrel down and rotate it forward, sliding it back in, extending the barrel. A very cool and fun gimmick that makes this weapon quite unique, and that length of the barrel makes it look more like a giant cannon or sniper rifle. One of my favorite long-range weapon designs, so long that it's almost a head taller than the Gundam itself. Now to equip it, the handle is actually on a ball joint, allowing for easy hand position, and it always has a tab, making it more secure. But out of all the weapons, this is actually the most difficult to attach properly, just because positioning it under the arm is just a little cumbersome. And because of how short the arms are, the other hand would have a hard time reaching over, kind of leaving it in an awkward position. Now alternatively, you could actually equip it another way, which is much more difficult, by attaching it onto the backpack with a simple peg and socket that is pretty secure. You can also use the movable arms in the backpack to support the gun, but you're going to have to maneuver some things around just to get it there. I think this is technically the right way to equip it. It's quite annoying to do, but it's secure once you get it there. But let's put in a dynamic pose. Get yourself an action base. I'm using the action base 7. Bandai was smart with this attachment point. It's hidden under this piece where you can just slide forward, shove the action base into its bum, and get to posing. And with just a couple weapons, along with the pretty decent articulation, posing this kit is pretty fun, with the only small problem you might run in is the positioning of the smoothbore gun. Aside from that, holding poses will not be a problem, because it is a pretty solid kit. And in case you don't believe me, here's a shake test. I'm pretty optimistic. So pretty much aside from the weapons falling off, the rest of the kit is absolutely solid. Not surprising at all. Even better than its 1/100 Master Grade counterpart. Now if you're wondering the size of the kit, it stands around 5.5 inches tall, close to 14 centimeters, and it has roughly a 6-inch wingspan, or 15.24 centimeters. And for size comparison, here it is next to the Entry Grade ARC-72, Master Grade ARC-72, Master Grade Barbatos. It's got the width, just not the height. But it towers over normal SD kits, such as the SD Death Sight, and here it is next to Haro, Doraemon, DK, an Invicta Tactical Warsuit, a bottle of detergent, rubbing alcohol, a hat, and a rubber ducky. Being categorized as an SD kit is not going to be that big, so it's not going to take up much shelf space, meaning you could probably display it anywhere. But the size does limit its shelf presence. And so that concludes my first Master Grade SD kit review. What are my final thoughts? Well, if you haven't already guessed, I absolutely love this kit. And considering how expensive kits are nowadays, with this price, I think it's pretty reasonable. But if you can get it cheaper, even better. And what you will get is a very good looking kit with a great amount of detail, all the while being very easy to build and something I would actually recommend for beginners. It's a sturdy kit with a decent amount of articulation. Combine that with a nice variety of weapons. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's a great kit. And those are my final thoughts. Thanks again for watching my video. I hope you like it. I enjoy making it. Let me know what you think. Would you guys consider getting this kit? Perhaps you just might not like the proportions, or maybe think it's still too expensive. But let me know in the comments below. After having built 2 Master Grade SD kits already, I already got the Master Grade Wing 0 pre-ordered, so I definitely look forward to the future releases of this line. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye.